The story begins with an older man sweeping outside his building. A mailman hands him a package for his daughter, Bo-ra, now a busy adult working as a voice actor for commercials. Bo-ra calls her dad about the package, which turns out to be an old movie invitation. Her dad also reminds her to come home to help her parents move. Looking at the movie cover brings back memories, and Bo-ra is transported to the past. In 1999, in Cheongju, young Bo-ra urges her best friend, Kim Yeon-do, to finish packing for her trip to New York for heart surgery. But Yeon-do is reluctant to leave because she's fallen for a boy she met at her family's shop. She reveals the boy, Baek Yeon-jin, also attends their school. To help, Bo-ra sets up accounts on a web portal, Dong, so they can stay in touch. From New York, Yeon-do sends updates and tips for Bo-ra to find Yeon-jin. Bo-ra finally spots him on the school bus, marking the start of her journey. Bo-ra looks around for Baek Yeon-jin and literally stumbles into him on the bus. He catches her before she falls and even gives up his seat for her. Spotting his name on his uniform, Bo-ra confirms he's the boy Yeon-do likes. Determined to learn more, Bo-ra starts investigating. She discovers his height, favorite drink, hobby, basketball, and shoe size. As for a girlfriend, she assumes he doesn't have one, as he's always seen with his best friend, Hung Woon-ho, who also attends their school. Bo-ra updates Yeon-do, but Yeon-do wants her to get closer to Yeon-jin. Bo-ra decides to join the broadcasting club after overhearing Yeon-jin and Woon-ho talking about it in the nurse's office. To eavesdrop, she even hides under a bed when Woon-ho looks around for snoopers. On audition day, Bo-ra performs a taekwondo routine to stand out. The plan backfires when Yeon-jin, impressed, drops out to give her a better chance. In the end, Bo-ra gets into the club, while Yeon-jin doesn't. Bo-ra decides to get closer to Yeon-jin by befriending his best friend, Woon-ho, who's in the broadcasting club with her. She also tries to get Yeon-jin's pager number but fails both times, partly because of Woon-ho. On her second attempt, she calls multiple numbers from a phone book under the name, Baek. Just as she's about to give up, a young boy answers, Yeon-jin. Pretending to be an automated system, Bo-ra tries to gather info, including his pager number. However, Yeon-jin suspects it's her, and she panics, hanging up. The next day, Woon-ho confronts Bo-ra, calling her, yes or no, a phrase she used during the call. He reveals that he answered the phone, not Yeon-jin, but never pretended to be him. Woon-ho offers to help Bo-ra get Yeon-jin's pager number if she gives him a movie from her family's rental shop. Bo-ra sneaks the movie for Woon-ho, but her teacher finds it during a surprise bag check in class. She's punished by kneeling in the hallway with the movie held over her head. Woon-ho appears, takes the movie from her hands, glances at it, and walks away, leaving Bo-ra furious. He's messing with the wrong girl. As promised, Woon-ho tricks Yeon-jin into sharing his pager number during a visit to Bo-ra's family's movie rental shop. After getting Woon-ho the movie he wanted, Bo-ra receives the pager number and shares it with Yeon-do. Everything seems to be going smoothly. Meanwhile, Bo-ra and Woon-ho grow closer as broadcasting club members. During a field trip to a cherry blossom festival, Bo-ra and Woon-ho record footage together for the club. While Woon-ho operates the camera, Bo-ra asks questions about Yeon-jin, but Woon-ho ends up answering about himself instead. Initially uninterested, Bo-ra becomes curious when Woon-ho teaches her how to use the camera. She films Yeon-jin but also briefly records Woon-ho. When their eyes meet through the lens, Bo-ra's heart skips a beat. After the trip, Bo-ra visits an arcade but rushes to a nearby fight after hearing about it. She finds Yeon-jin and Woon-ho involved and uses her taekwondo skills to fend off the gang. The three escape hand in hand, avoiding trouble with nearby police arresting a drunk man. Once they're safe, Bo-ra realizes Woon-ho is still holding her hand. Startled, she jumps up despite her sprained ankle, too full of adrenaline to feel the pain. Bo-ra is taken to the hospital with her dad and starts recovering on crutches. The next day, Yeon-jin surprises her at school and picks her up after class on his motorcycle. He takes her to a quiet spot to talk about the fight, believing she protected him out of care. However, Bo-ra only acted for Yeon-do, knowing how upset she'd be if Yunjin got hurt. Later, Yunjin takes Bo-ra to a restaurant, where Woonho happens to work. Over dinner, Yunjin confesses his feelings, saying he likes her and wants to date. Shocked, Bo-ra quickly excuses herself and leaves without her crutches. Woonho notices her sudden exit, follows her with her crutch, and adjusts the bandage on her ankle. He asks if she likes Yunjin, but Bo-ra denies it, insisting she's only interested in him for Yeondu's sake. Despite her words, Bo-ra feels her heart race as she watches Woonho walk away. That night, Bo-ra struggles to explain the situation to Yeondu but decides to handle it on her own. On another school trip, Bo-ra takes photos with her classmates and considers buying mulberry extract for Yeondu. Short on money, Yunjin steps in to help with the purchase, teasing her about the excuse she used during dinner. Frustrated, Bo-ra pulls Yunjin aside and sets boundaries, firmly stating they are only classmates and will never date. From afar, Woonho observes their tense conversation. The field trip takes a wild turn when Bo-ra and her classmates indulge in alcohol, mixing it with her mulberry juice to make it sweeter. The group quickly gets drunk, and when the boys from upstairs try to steal their stash, Bo-ra drunkenly storms up to confront them. She pounds on one of the doors, only to be met by Woonho. Before they can exchange words, their teacher starts patrolling the hall after hearing the noise. Woonho quickly ushers Bo-ra into another room to avoid getting caught. As they stand close together, trying to stay quiet, Bo-ra, emboldened by the alcohol, cups Woonho's face in her hands and leans in slightly. Woonho assumes she's just drunk and doesn't read too much into it, though her actions leave him momentarily flustered. The next morning, Bo-ra is the last to wake up, her teacher already aware of the previous night's antics. As punishment, the group is tasked with cleaning trash at the beach. Woonho offers Bo-ra a juice to help with her hangover, and she can't help but notice his quiet kindness. She observes him from afar, snapping photos with his camera, feeling a growing warmth in her chest. Her peaceful reflection is interrupted by Yunjin, who notices her dazed expression. Suggesting they take a group photo together, Yunjin ropes Woonho into the frame, and the trio poses on the beach. Later, Bo-ra sends the picture to Yeondu, updating her on her progress. As the school year ends and summer break begins, Bo-ra receives a surprise visit from Woonho at her family's movie rental store on a rainy evening. He shares that he'll be working at the ice cream shop across the street for the summer. From that point on, the two often exchange glances from their respective workplaces, their growing affection for each other becoming undeniable. Though unspoken, their mutual feelings hang tenderly in the air, as if waiting for the right moment to bloom. While enjoying the summer evening together, Woonho opens up about his family. His parents are divorced, and while his mom and brother stayed in New Zealand, he moved to Korea to live with his dad. He points out a plum tree in the yard that he and his dad planted together, offering Bo-ra some of the fruit. As Bo-ra munches on the plums, Woonho quietly records her resting on the bench beside him, savoring the moment. He compliments her voice, saying it's as lovely as it sounds during her announcements for the broadcasting club. The pair come close to sharing a kiss under the plum tree, but a falling plum hilariously interrupts them, landing on Bo-ra's head. Their laughter fills the air, and as the night wraps up, Woonho finally sneaks a quick kiss on Bo-ra's lips before agreeing to her suggestion for a movie date over the weekend. Bo-ra is over the moon and can't contain her joy. In her usual updates to Yeondu on Dom, she gushes about her new crush, describing how she feels like she's falling in love for the first time. She steals glances at Woonho across the street at his workplace, her heart fluttering each time. Everything seems perfect, until Yunjin complicates things by inviting Bo-ra for ice cream at Woonho's store. At the shop, Woonho and Yunjin engage in a friendly but competitive banter to grab Bo-ra's attention. However, the moment is interrupted when Yeondu unexpectedly shows up at the store. The two best friends reunite with emotional hugs and tears, as Woonho and Yunjin watch from the sidelines. Once introductions are exchanged, Yeondu catches up with Bo-ra. Yeondu, recovering well from her heart surgery, excitedly talks about her crush, the boy in the school uniform. She's surprised when she sees him again, this time wearing a work uniform at an ice cream shop. Confused, she pulls out an old photo of Woonho, Bo Ra, and Yun Jin from the beach. Pointing to the heart she circled around Woon-ho's face, she realizes it was him she had a crush on all along. The boy she saw at her family's store had only been wearing Yun Jin's uniform while inquiring about getting one for himself. Bo Ra is stunned. She knows the truth will hurt Yeon-do, but she chooses to stay silent. She deletes a message she had written to Yeon-do about her feelings for Woon-ho and starts avoiding him at work. Bo Ra even asks Yeon-do to take her place on the movie date with Woon-ho. Later, Woon-ho finds Bo Ra at a pay phone. He's happy to see her, but she's distant. She returns the phone he gifted her and tells him she doesn't have feelings for him. Hurt, Woon-ho watches her leave. As he walks home in the rain, he looks at the envelope containing the letter he had written for her but never gave. Woon-ho begins his letter to Bo Ra. It's me, Woon-ho. I'm writing because I don't think I can say this to you in person. I met you this winter when I first arrived in Cheongju. You probably don't remember, it was at your family's movie rental shop. You ran out so fast, and it made me curious about the movie you were hiding. Their first meeting flashes in his mind. Bo Ra sneaking out with an erotic movie, unaware he saw her. That moment sparked his interest. When I first came to Korea, I rarely smiled. Then I met you again. I started noticing the little, unpredictable things you do. He recalls moments they shared. Bo Ra chasing the bus he was on, hiding under a hospital bed, and their broadcasting club meetings. Slowly, Woon-ho began to understand his feelings. You once told me something personal, but I've always wondered, were you really talking to me, or did you mistake me for Yun Jin? I never asked because I didn't want to get hurt. But as we spent more time together, I realized your feelings matched mine. Then comes the bittersweet truth. Now I finally know how you feel. But I have to leave for New Zealand soon. I promise I'll come back. I like you, Na Bo Ra. But after Bo Ra's rejection, Woon-ho realizes it's over. Standing in the rain, he drops the letter onto the ground. The new school term begins, and Bo Ra and Woon-ho must act as if everything is normal. Their awkwardness is amplified when they're paired for a broadcasting club project titled, Letter to the 21st Century, * where they record classmates' hopes for the future. Despite the tension, they remain professional. When the content is ready, Bo Ra and Yeon-do join Woon-ho and Yun Jin on a field trip to Seoul to visit SBS and learn video editing. During the trip, Woon-ho can't help but steal glances at Bo Ra, his feelings still lingering. On a break, Yeon-do shares her plan with Bo Ra. She's going to confess her feelings to Woon-ho. She's gotten tickets to a nearby amusement park and asks Bo Ra to create a moment for her to be alone with him. Reluctantly, Bo Ra agrees. At the amusement park, Bo Ra tries to protect Yeon-do's feelings by suggesting they stick to gentle rides. They all ride the carousel, but Woon-ho's focus remains on Bo Ra, and Yeon-do notices. When they finally ride the roller coaster, everything changes. As they reach the drop, Woon-ho suddenly grabs Bo Ra's hand and shouts, "I like you." Over the roaring wind. After the ride ends, neither says a word, the moment hanging heavily between them. Later, Woon-ho and Bo Ra separate from the group to talk. Woon-ho finally tells her what he couldn't before, he's moving back to New Zealand. Bo Ra hides her heartbreak, saying it's good that he'll be with his brother again. Woon-ho expected a sadder reaction but is relieved she's composed. He thanks her for everything. Both have so much left unsaid, feelings unexpressed. The silence between them is heavy with unspoken words, and the distance between their hearts grows even wider. That night, Yeon-do confronts Bo Ra about hiding her feelings for Woon-ho. Bo Ra insists she kept it a secret for Yeon-do's sake, but Yeon-do doesn't accept the excuse. "I'd have let it go if it meant keeping our friendship. You're more important to me than anyone else," she says. She adds softly, "I don't need a nurse. I need a friend." Meanwhile, Woon-ho prepares for his return to New Zealand after a brief, somber goodbye with his father. Yeon-do, still hurt, ignores Bo Ra's calls but later finds a deleted message on Dom where Bo Ra admitted her feelings for Woon-ho while declaring Yeon-do would always come first. Touched, Yeon-do decides to help Bo Ra. The next day, Yeon-do tells Woon-ho about Bo Ra's selflessness, sharing moments when Bo Ra prioritized her friendship. "Bo Ra liked you," she says, "but stayed silent for me. Inspired, Woonho decides to see Bo-ra one last time, using the erotic movie he borrowed as an excuse. But Bo-ra is at the hospital with her family after her younger brother falls ill. Woonho waits all night by her store, even paging her, but Bo-ra never sees the message. Her focus remains on her brother, who thankfully recovers. The missed chance leaves both Woonho and Bo-ra uncertain if they'll ever find closure. The next day at school, Yeon-do fakes a fainting incident to force Bo-ra to notice her. Despite their argument, Bo-ra's instinct to care for Yeon-do kicks in, and she carries her on her back. Once Yeon-do reveals she's fine, she urges Bo-ra to meet Woonho before he leaves for New Zealand. Yeon-jin arrives on his motorcycle and rushes Bo-ra to the train station. Time is running out, and Bo-ra's anxiety grows as the train's departure nears. Just in time, she spots Woonho and runs to him. Overwhelmed with emotion, Bo-ra breaks down in tears, apologizing for everything and finally confessing her feelings. Woonho, moved, assures her she didn't need to apologize and admits how much he likes her too. Encouraged by Woonho, Bo-ra shyly raises her voice to echo his confession. The bittersweet moment they had both longed for is cut short by the reality of his departure. With tears streaming, Woonho embraces Bo-ra and asks her to wait for him, promising to return. They part ways, both crying but cherishing the love they've finally shared. Even though they're apart, Bo-ra and Woonho keep their connection alive through messages on Dom. They update each other about their lives and even celebrate the new year virtually, making plans to attend college together. However, one day, Woonho suddenly stops replying. Bo-ra waits anxiously, but his silence forces her to move on, even though she never stops wondering what happened. In college, Bo-ra tries to date again. On one blind date, her partner's name is Woonho, cameo by Gong Myung. This stirs up painful memories, and she abruptly leaves the date. Frustrated and heartbroken, she calls Woonho's number from a payphone, venting her anger and declaring she won't wait for him any longer. But the question lingers, what happened to Woonho? Years later, as an adult, Bo-ra revisits her family's store and recalls a package sent to her. Intrigued, she decides to visit an art exhibition connected to it. At the exhibition, she's captivated by the breathtaking art, particularly a piece featuring a plum tree and a white bench. Reading the artist's name, she's stunned. It's Woonho, with the dates 1983-2001. At that moment, Woonho's younger brother, Joseph, approaches her. They share memories of Woonho, and Joseph explains how he organized the exhibition using videos and footage his brother left behind. He reveals that Bo-ra was the person who brought Woonho the most happiness, the center of his world. Joseph thanks her for remembering his brother, and Bo-ra finds solace in the exhibition, finally gaining the closure she had long sought. The exhibition concludes with a video clip of Woonho and little Joseph in a stunning floral field in New Zealand at sunrise. Woonho and Joseph wish Bo-ra a happy new year, their smiles radiant. After a moment, Joseph steps out of the frame, leaving Woonho alone. He speaks directly to the camera, leaving Bo-ra with a heartfelt message, "Wait for me just a little longer. I'll come see you soon. I'm sure the 21st century will be amazing with you, just like the 20th century was." Asterisk. As the video ends, Bo-ra watches with tears streaming down her face. She laughs softly at Woonho's goofy and endearing nature, but the weight of his absence fills her heart with grief. Though Woonho is no longer with her, his love and memory remain alive. In her heart, Bo-ra knows she will always be in his 20th century. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.